Joe versus the Volcano was released in 1990. This is written and directed by John Patrick Shanley, and we have a cast including Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. We also have Carol Kane. It's because of Carol Kane that I wanted to watch this. It sounded like it could go either way, and unfortunately, I found it to be really, really boring. It's just not that interesting, which is strange because there's a lot happening. There's a lot of variety in what's happening. And Joe as a character, I don't mind. I don't like him. I don't care for him, but I certainly don't dislike him. The narrative focuses on the fact that Joe finds out that he doesn't have long to live. So he accepts this offer to throw himself into a volcano. And I won't go into too much detail about how that comes about or why people are asking him to do this. It makes sense within the context of the film, I think. But obviously the journey there and whether or not he will do it are the big things that are the main focus of the film. And I just found it to be so dull. It's not badly written necessarily. There's a lot of variety. The pacing's not too bad. Joe, as I said, is fine. It's just really boring. I just found that there wasn't anything in this that was particularly engaging. The characters weren't that interesting. I guess a tiny part of me was curious to find out ultimately what would happen at the end of the film, but not enough for me to become really enthusiastic about the story. It's just not that interesting. It's watchable. So if you're looking for a film that maybe doesn't require a lot of concentration, it could be okay there. Maybe something to put on in the background while you're doing other things. But in terms of being a really fascinating story, it just isn't. It's busy. There's a lot happening. But I never really felt a lot of emotions. I wasn't excited. I wasn't really emotional about the fact he didn't have long to live. Because I guess, as I said, I don't really care for the character. So for me, Joe versus the Volcano just wasn't very interesting. It's not a bad film, but I don't think it's an interesting film. The performances are fine. The characters are believable. There's a lot of variety in what's happening. The camera work's fine. The lighting's fine. It's just a little bit dull. But if you're in the mood for something that's not that interesting, maybe you're tired and you just want something on while you're doing other things, something you don't really need to concentrate on too much, it could be good for that. But in terms of watching it, becoming fully absorbed in the story, despite the fact that it seems to have a lot going on, I don't think it really has a lot to offer. I guess it did make me question what would I do in Joe's position. And his doctor did suggest the one thing that I think I and many other people would do: why don't you go travelling? Which Joe, he didn't have the savings for that. It wasn't something he immediately said, oh yes, that's a good idea. Because I feel like most of us would go, yeah, I'm going to empty my bank account and just travel while I can. But other than me thinking, yeah, that's probably what I would do with the whole volcano thing, I feel like, no, I'm not going to throw myself into a volcano. I don't care how long I have left to live. I'm not doing it. But some people are thrill seekers. Some people might actually think that that's a really interesting way to go. So it might make you question how you would respond in the scenario, but that still doesn't really make the film that much more fascinating. Either way, check it out if you want to. If you don't, I don't think you're missing out on too much. It's an easy watch, but it's maybe not the most interesting. I think I've overused that word. Ultimately, while it's watchable, I didn't think Joe versus the Volcano was a particularly great film.